facilities, and if you go to the literal definitions, that is known as place where industries or manufacturing places is take place. If you face any kind of interview questions, especially reference to what do you mean by plant, you simply reply the answer in the form of it. The industries or the place, especially reference to manufacturing, where uh, the industrial and manufacturing processes takes place, that is known as plant. So moving to next literal definitions, a building capable of manufacturing of goods of all sizes in large quantity to be sold by a business. So this is another definition which is concerned about the definition of plant. Moving to next one. So in case of most important thing is that if you go to establish a new plant, if you see the scenario in case of Odisha industrial belts. So especially reference to Odisha, we have four major industrial belts and they are well placed in various locations. So the first one is the Jajpur industrial belt. The next one is your Manchester industrial belt. The third one is your Angul industrial belt. The fourth one is your Jharsuguda industrial belt. These are the major four industrial belt across Odisha. The thing is that if you see the locations, especially reference to metal industries, especially reference to polymer industries, especially reference to packagings and dairy industries, they are well placed nearby the river banks area. The thing is that, and they are also placed nearby the mining area. They can directly optimize the various transportation costs, the first one, and the second one is availability of resources. That is the major thing which is very much include uh, in case of facility location, and the third thing is availability of skilled workers. So these major three things is basically provide the opportunities for establishment of new companies across Odisha. So if you go to the literal definitions, in case of plant location, refer to a choice of regions where man, machine, materials, and money and equipments are brought together for setting up a factory or business. So that is the concept of facility locations where the man, machines, materials, your machineries and equipments are brought together in a particular location where they go for manufacturing or industrial activities. So this is all about your facility location. So previously we have discussed about one of the best company that is known as Falcon Marine Export Limited, where this company is very much famous for seafood export and import, and it is the one of the biggest companies. They have already signed various subcontractor and contractor level for establishing their business in various aspects of Indian as well as overseas. So moving to next ones, what will happen? Why I am giving this particular examples? The thing is that, or a particular case of this particular subject. The thing is that due to availability of various resources, just a minute. Due to availability of various resources, what will happen? The most of the company are directly focused on various things. First thing is the transportation. The next one is the availability of various space, land, and establishment of various facilities for this particular organization. If you see the scenario in case of Falcon Marine Export, the company initially started in case of Manchester Industrial Belt, and due to huge amount of demand, including local, domestics, as well as national, as well as overseas, the companies likely to be expand or extend their various projects across Odisha. So recently, they have already invested various huge amount of money for various locations. The next location is your near Mangalore, which is near the border of your Khordha and Barampur. Another is near Baleswar, because the extension of project or facilities is nearby Dhamnapur. The next one is they are also collaborating with various local bodies. Recently, in the last 5 years, they have tied up with government of Odisha under the Make in Odisha concept for various Chilica retail outlets. And if you see the quality implementation from the company side, they directly implement their own logistics for optimization of logistics cost, transportation cost. The next important thing is that they maintain a hygienic environment for food packagings. So as you know, this in case of seafood, the durability of this particular product it's lasts for 6 to 8 hours maximum. But due to availability of various sources and extended of various projects by the Falcon Group, they have already established various projects across India, and it is happened due to the proper locations. So moving to next one, I will just quickly gone through because we have already made have a particular gap regarding this particular subject. So these are the founder. If you know this particular person, Tara Ranjan Patnaik is very much famous for his lifestyles, and he is the owner of the highest number of Mercedes across Odisha. And now, and at present, they are focused on various flagship companies like Patnaik Steel and Alloys Limited. The next is Falcon Real Estate Private Limited, and they have own a engineering college, that is Padmanabha College of Engineering near Raulkelas. So these are the different companies under the Falcon group. Moving to next one, I will directly go to this. So this is the catching area, which is they have assigned different third-party agency for breeding of various. You can say that is form of pond in nearby the Chilika areas, and they directly pronounce that they are the catching area. It is situated nearby near the Mangal Jodi, especially reference to Balonga area. And moving to next one. So these are the processing centers, especially reference to Deras, Chilika, fresh processing centers. You can see in this particular figure, they have maximized the involvement of women employees. Uh, there is a particular concept is there. In case of if you engage a huge amount of or you are directly focused on women empowerment, in that case they have already assigned various livelihood as well as the living condition of various areas due to assignment or due to employed of various female workers for the processing industries. Moving to next ones. Here, in case of, if you see the most important thing is in case of seafood, if you remove the scales of various product, like prawn segment is there, then crab segment is there, big fish segment is there. In that case, the durability will be increased for a certain period. That should be range from 8 hours to 24 hours. So initially, what happened during the processing center? If you involve or if you visited their processing center, they directly remove the scales, and the next is that they are providing various hygienic environment in case of packaging industry. So especially refers to packaging industry, they are implementing innovation packagings. So that next comes to what do you mean by innovation packaging? The thing is that in case of innovation technology, the entire cartoons or entire package, which consists of 2 to 3 number of layers, and the final layer contains various informations. What kind of information? The most important thing is that in case of seafood, you have to maintain the temperatures. So for maintaining temperatures, they are providing various ices, or various form of ices inside the box, and they will provide. They directly go for codification of entire packaging system. In that, if you go for scanning the entire barcode, you can easily find the date of processings, the date of packaging. So the next is the temperatures, and if it should be reached to the proper destination, they will provide the exact delivery date. So these are the innovation packaging in case of involved in case of seafood distribution in various places, and due to involvement of top level of management in various aspects, especially if it's to facility location, whether it should be Baleswar plant, whether it should be in case of Paradip plant, whether it should be in case of Balugam plant, or whether in case of Chandaga, Chilika processing centers, they are maintaining the quality in a distributed manner so that they will directly provide various aspect of you can say uh, seafood distributions. Moving to next ones, I just quickly gone through. Uh, the next one is this is the Mangal Jodi plant near Palugam, which is you can see this particular figure. They have maintained number of cross docking system for various products, and this one the Manchester Industrial Belt where they have started this particular seafood processing centers. This is the image of Paradip processing plant, and this is the Balesur plant, which is recently invested by the company side. The most important thing is in case of recently made, in case of specially reference to Dhamra port, they have already invested around 90 crore of rupees under Make in Odisha concept. Moving to next one, and to see the company's growth, the most important thing is in case of Falcon Marine Export, like your Deras Park. So they have acquired around 3.1518 acres of land, and the company has invested around 78 crore rupees. And just imagine around 4,000 number of women employees are involved directly, and the company is directly focused on sustainability. For sustainability, you must go for CSR activities. So under CSR activities, they are involved women empowerment. So for women empowerment that directly involve women employees for increase their livelihood in various areas. So moving to next ones, we have already experienced the silica phase outlet in various part of Bhubaneswar as well as in case of Twin Cities. It is well known for its maintaining various hygienic as well as packaging and delivering goods in various areas. Moving to next one, the next important thing is why the most of the company are go for plant locations or new locations. The first one is if you want to going to start a new business, that is the most important point. The next important thing is existing business has outgrown and expansion is not possible. So if you see the scenario in case of Falcon Marine Exports, especially reference to Manchester plant, the Manchester plant has already outgrown and there is no provision of expansion is possible from company side. And if you see the scenario in case of Twin City, the cost of land is very much higher side. That is why companies decide to go for various expansion project in the form of Deras Park, in the form of Paradeep, in the form of Mangaljo. Moving to next one, the third point is the volume of business or the market necessary establishment of branches. So if you go to establish your business or value to your brand or maximize your number of branches, that is why company are directly relocated in various locations. That is one of the major point. The next important thing is social and economic regions due to availability of a huge amount of labor supplies and shifting of market also. If you see the scenario in case of tea estate industries, especially reference to Northeast, the next important part in case of Kerala for coffee, in case of Karnataka for coffee. So in that case, in that case, most of the company are directly focused due to availability of huge amount of labor supplies. And the next is the market is also shifting from one place to other place. So initially, if you see the scenario in case of tea production, in case of Assam or Northeast, the market is directly shifted from Assam to West Bengal. Major market in case of distribution, in case of supply, are play by or key major players are the state of West Bengal, where the vendors, wholesaler, super stockists, or you can say the supplier are also involved. Moving to next one, the next one is reducing manufacturing cost by shifting location to another location. If you see the scenario in case of Odisha, most of the steel plant are shifted from one place to other place, and it is happened due to the availability of huge amount of resources, natural resources like coal, iron ores, bauxite, aluminum. And the last one is if you go for the scenario in case of lease expire, in case of landlord does not renew the lease, in that case most of the company are directly shift from one location to other location. So these are the key things which is involved in case of plant location from one location to the new locations. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving to next ones, everybody is know about this particular companies. Why Tata Nano is well, we already know about the case studies of case studies. Few faculties have already discussed in case of your marketing management and due to the promotion strategy, the entire company is well. But if you see the scenario in case of plant location case studies point of view, so initially, what will happen? The state like West Bengals. The next one is the state like Karnataka has initially offer. Karnataka was the first state who offered the entire project from his side to Tata companies. And most of the cases, the company is directly relocated after single incident to various parts. In case of state like Gujarat, they will offer three strategic locations. One is Mundra in Kutch districts, the next is Charodi in case of Chanand, and the last one is Surat. But the cost of land is very much higher in case of Surat, and due to availability of that is lack of availability of water resource, especially refers to Kutch area. That is why company decide to establish its nano production unit in case of charity, especially reference to the district of Sun. And even if in case of Gopalpur, the state of Odisha will also offer similarly, or you can say simply the Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh and the Uttarakhand also made the offer. But due to this state policy in case of taxes, Gujarat policy is very much less as compared to the other state. That is why the company decided to shift the entire project from Tata Singhu to Tata Sanand area. So this is one of the case study we have already gone through this one. Moving to next one. The next one is in this particular session we have to directly focus on the objective and nature of plant location. So in specially reference to objective, the decision is determine the minimum cost level keeping view of cost. So most of the companies are directly focused on cost. So previous slide that defined various aspects in case of man, machines, materials, money, then equipments, then availability of suppliers, and the next is the livelihood of that particular area. But the thing is that company always think about cost, how to optimize the cost in cost minimum levels. That is the thing which is involved in case of plant location. So that is why, as far as concerned with the location decision, it is determine the minimum cost level, keeping view of cost, whether the cost is directly involved in the product or whether the indirect cost is involved in the product. That should be optimized in a proper way, and that decision is taken by the top level of management. That is the thing which is included in case of your plant location. Moving to point number two, the plant location decision should be permit minimization of both long term and short term cost. So we'll discuss how the long-term and short-term cost is directly influence the plant location, taking into advantage of this competitive edge, especially reference to more number of competitors. If you see the scenario in case of more number of metal industries, in case of state of Odisha, we have Jindal Steel, we have Tata Steels, we have Vija Steels, we have Isha Steel is there, and they are specialized in their particular product, especially reference to alloy steels. But the thing is that if you see the long-term sustainabilities, most of the cases, if I ask the question to which plant will be sustained for a longer time, everybody should pronounce about Tata Steels. And in case of short-term strategies, especially reference to Jindal Steel, so during pandemic situation, we have observed that Jindal is the highest producer of liquid oxygens, and they have already supplied and maximized the revenues. So these make supply of your liquid oxygen in various part of India. These are implemented in case of short-term locations. That is why the entire Delhi head office is directly shifted to Angul districts in case of your Jindal Steel. But Tata has never shifted their entire office from Mumbai to Odisha because they are already implementing various quality aspect in case of in case of sustainability for the long term. So that is why these are the major decision taken by various plan, and this decision will be vary from company to company and company policy to company policies. Moving to the last one, the problem of decisions to move or stay at the particular location is always before the management, especially when the expansion program is completed, which is known as relocation. So as I told, in case of most of the cases, why company are go for relocation? The first is if your production is overwrought, or there is no provision for expansion project. So that is why most of the company are go for relocations. But if you see the scenario in case of opening of number of branches in case of banking sectors, they directly go for what relocation of different branches from one place to other place due to expire of lease. So these are the basic objective and nature of plant location. Is it clear? I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving to next one. The next one is step in location selections. So in case of step in location selection, the first is inside the country or outside the countries. So if you take the example of company like Flipkart, they've already registered their company in case of Singapore. The next is there are some more number of multinational companies like Procter and Gamble's. They've already registered their company in case of Singapore also, but they are maximize their revenue in case of India as well as Asia specifics. Moving to next one, the next major point is selection of regions. So in case of selection of region, we have already observed that there are so many products belong to various regions. As I told, in case of Assam is very much famous for tea production. Similarly, in case of jute production, West Bengal is very much famous. In case of raw material for leathers, Kanpur is very much famous. So these are the different regions where you can directly focus in case of selection of various regions to establish your organization. Moving to next one, selection of locality and communities. So this is most important aspect in case of supply of labors. So if you not choose the place or not choose the localities or communities, what will happen? You can take the cases of Chevrolet or if you take the cases of Ford Motors, especially reference to Indian market. They entirely remove their particular product due to the wrong decision locality as well as communities. So I will give the best example in case of your Chevrolet Motors. What will happen? There is a cross-cultural activity which will happen in the middle level versus your top level of management. So most of the cases, Chevrolet Motors belong to your South Korea. And in case of South Korea, they have only 2 to 3 number of festivities there. But in case of India, we have around more than 26 or 27 holidays, which will be happen starting from the January to December. So due to this cross-cultural activities, the people are directly ignored or they not participate or not efficiently doing their work due to this huge amount of cross-cultural clashes. Moving to next one, the last one is selection of exact site. This is most important thing. If you see the scenario in case of DSP Dalmia Cement or the SEC Cement or in case of Lafrage or in case of L&T, most of the cement plant are directly or you can say they are exactly situated nearby the steel plant. They can directly use the vast wastage which is exit from the steel plant or the metal industries. These are the basic raw material for cement industry. So that is why they choose these locations. If you see the scenario in case of DSP Dalmia, near your Raul bed, and that is well connected to your sale as well as various private age metal industries are there. So due to that thing, what will happen? They choose the exact location for maximize, and the next is the minimum the cost of transportation. The next important thing, the availability of raw material is there. So these things which is directly provide a exact site for establishing various industries. Similarly, if you take the example in case of sugar industries, so we have Shakti Sugar near your Dhenkanal belt, and this Shakti Sugar is well connected to 3 number of districts, starting from your Cuttack, then Nayagarh, as well as the Dhenkanal districts, which have higher productions, especially of sugar there.
Sir,
And as
also
you know, this
Kendrapada also.
yes,
Kendrapada also, sir.
Kendrapada is not famous for that much of sugarcane productions. These 3 districts are recently focused on sugarcane productions. Clear. And if you talk about the Kendrapada districts, but they are directly produced more or less in various aspects. But if you see the scenario of this particular belt, they are focused in generating various sugar grains as well as the purest form of alcohol or spirit also. So these are the things which is include. I just repeat. First one is within the country or outside. The next is selection of region. The next thing is selection of locality and community, and the last one is selection of exact site. Moving to next one. The next one is factor that influence facility locations. So here we are going to discuss what are the different factors. The first one is law and order situations. So similarly, if you compare between the export and import in between the state of Odisha versus your West Bengal, major cases, especially reference to potato and vegetable supplies, their taxes should be varied. So in case of GST or CGST or state GST is applicable to 18%, but in case of the state like West Bengal, they will directly reduce the GSTs. So that law and order is provide a huge opportunities in case of tax saving as well as cost optimizations. Moving to next one, the availability of infrastructures. So in case of availability of infrastructures, various places will provide various infrastructures on rent basis, on lease basis. If you see the scenario in case of the proper designation in case of your Flipkart, they have directly provided position technical facility and infrastructure manager. So in case of being involved in terms in case of SIP, especially reference to your Flipkart companies. So this particular designation is provide a huge opportunity for go for contract negotiation with various government as well as private agency for negotiating about various infrastructure. Same thing happen in case of Reliance Place. So if you see in case, the scenario in case of Reliance Place, what will happen? The company is directly assigned facility and infrastructure manager to go for negotiating various places on lease basis, on contract basis. So most of the company are directly focused on those part, or those owners and those franchise owners have the infrastructure facility. They will provide on the basis of lease. So in the real-time application, we have already observed that telecom towers are provide a huge amount of availability of infrastructures for establishment of various telecom towers in various part of Odisha as well as various part of India also. Moving to next one, good industrial relations. That simply go for the short term, that is IR relations, industrial relation. So why industrial relation is most important? If you take the example of Jamshedpur steel plant by Tata Group, the entire plant is surrounded by more number of companies. So whenever Tata is go for expanding his business, they directly assign these companies for small part building on component manufacturing. So that is the advantage of this company, that they will go for convert the entire component and subcomponent or joining the assembly into form of various vehicles by Tata Group. The next is availability of skilled worker. This is one of the biggest scarcity. That is why government of India as well as government of Odisha is implementing or directly focus on various skill development of various unskilled workers to convert into highly skilled workers. And the government of India has already invested a huge amount of capital for upgrading the skill of various workers, peoples in various locations. So moving to next one, the next one is investor-friendly attitudes. So especially this particular point is directly referred to various foreign direct investment by various pharma companies. So during pandemic, we have already observed that Bharat Pharma or various doctor reddies are investing, or they will provide the attitude for the investor. They will already invested a huge amount of money for vaccinations. The next is near to market. This is most another important factor which is directly influence the facility locations. The facilities should be near to the market that they can easily access the distributions, the sales. The next important thing is maximize the profit generation through the distribution activities. The next one is near to the source of raw materials. So as I told that whenever you're going to establish various metal industries, that should be placed nearer to the mines area. So especially reference to Falcon Marine Export, that, as I told most of the time, this company has directly reduced the transportation level from a certain point to zero levels. Why they may maintain? Because this area, especially refers to Birdville area, is very hilly area and it is dense. So then most of the things, the transportation facility is not. It is very much traffic intensity due to the transportation of various trucks in this particular region. And company decide to establish a conveyor belt to transportation of bulk amount of raw material from mines to the plant premise. Moving to next one. The next one is supporting industry and services. The next point is must be meet safety requirement. This is very much fast. That is why most of the company has implemented occupational health and safety for the worker as well as for the company also. And the last one is climate conditions. So why climate conditions? For example, in case of Nasik area, the climate condition is very much good for your sunflower productions, especially reference to oil production, consumable oils, or it is also good for the cultivation of onions in this particular region due to its climatic conditions. Similarly, if you go to the pharmaceutical company point of view, most of the pharmaceutical company are established their processing center or packaging center in case of Uttarakhand, in case of Jammu and Kashmir, due to its lower temperature throughout the years. So these are very much helpful in case of choosing the plant locations. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Moving to next one. So we have already gone through this particular case studies. It's that most of the, you can say this uh, company are directly decide to establish their head office or register their company in case of Singapore due to the tax rebate. If you register your company in case of India, the tax will be around 32%. But if you register your company in case of Singapore, you have to pay around 17% of the tax. And that is the biggest thing that attract more number of foreign investment to provide more opportunity to establish or to register their company in case of Singapore. But the thing is that if you see the climatic conditions for various companies throughout the year, you can observe 22 to maximum 25 or 26 degree temperatures. The next important thing is due to the transportation, the entire country is within the range of 45 kilometers. You can travel from one place to another place within fraction of hours. The next important thing is this particular country provide a very innovative index. If you see the next slide, Switzerland is very leading the list in case of global innovation index, and if you see the scenario in case of Singapore, they are in the third position, especially reference to your Asia specific countries, and that is the reason most of the foreign country are directly register their companies in case of Singapore. Moving to next one. So this is the Asian data center location rankings. We people are always compare our country with other country, but in case of Asian data center location ranking, Singapore is leading the list, and if you see the ranking, India has got the rank of 10, and the percentage is 47.84 rank, and in case of Singapore that is 84.50. So why I'm providing this particular slide. The thing is that in case of Asian data centers, where most of the companies go for quantitative analysis as well as qualitative analysis, especially referring to quantitative analysis, this country provide various aspects of data in case of establishing a new business, how to grow and how to recognize your brand values from that region to entire Asia specific region. This country is providing very vast amount of value additions, especially refers to your business analysis as well as making profit also. Moving to next one. The next one is facility strategies. So in case of facility strategies, I just do not read the slide. Just go to the only first point. The facility is an approach to identify the type, quantity, and location space needed by the organizations. That is the only definition you can refer during your interviews. Why facility strategy is most important? The next most important thing is you have to identify the different type and quantity and the location of spaces needed by the organizations. Suppose you are going to establish a steel plant. That means a steel plant consists of 4 to 5 number of divisions. The first one is coal processing division, next one is your sponge iron division, next one is the power plant, and the last one is the metal production industry. So these four subdivision divisions are directly formed, and this needed a huge amount of spaces. So as you know, in case of steel industries, most of the steel industries are directly focused on the water resource. So in case of steel productions, water is the blood of any kind of steel industries. For cooling of various furnace, for cooling of various machines, water is vastly needed. That is why if you go for the location of various spaces, the steel plant are situated near the river bank areas. For example, in case of Jharsuguda, for example, in case of your Jajpur industrial belt, for example, in case of your Angul industrial belt, these are well connected to water resources. And the next important thing is they are vastly used the recirculate water in their organizations. So that is why whenever you go for establishing a metal industry, you must focus on water resources where the availability of water is very much higher side as compared to the rest of the locations. Moving to next one.
Sir, identifies the type meaning.
What?
Identifies the type. Type meaning, sir.
In
Is
this
an
slide?
approach to yes, sir. Is an approach
Okay.
to identifies the type.
Yes. Yes.
Type meaning-
Yes. Type of space means it is directly provide the various locations. Suppose what most of the company are directly go for square areas. Clear. This is one of the type. Basically, the industries are focused on various type of land, type of spaces. Clear. For example, in case of Reliance Fresh. So one of the last week I have already interacted with your seniors. It is uh, Jyoti Ranjan Sahu and Swam Prakash Sahu. They have already placed in case of Reliance, and recently he's got a promotion for this facility and infrastructure. So, being a infrastructure and facility manager, his duty is that he has to involve in various locations, like starting from your Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Khordha, Puri, and Nayagarh districts. So he got the responsibility for arranging number of or opening of number of retail outlets, especially reference to Reliance outlet. And his duty is directly involved. He have to identify different type of outlet. So specially reference to type of outlet, location spaces, they are identify various agency and the private property owners. So in this regard, we have to identify whether his building is 2-stair or 3-stair. This is one type. And what are the different spaces available. So specially reference to spaces available, most of the company are to focus on square type or long rectangular spaces for arrangement of different departments. So that is the thing. The next important thing, if you choose the space in a proper way, you can directly go for quantity. In case of male, female segment, grocery segment, then the cosmetic segment, the shoe segment, then cooking utensil segment in a different manner. So that strategy is very much involved in case of identifying the type of land, type of sports space available. The next is quantity to be measured. The next one is location of the space. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving to next one. So in case of facility strategies, these are the critical component of an organization strategy. Facility planning, since they are outcomes of business decision making. I repeat, if you implement the facility strategies, the outcome should be business decision making process, and that should be for the long term period, not for the short term period, to support the achievement of organization and mission and visions. So here, what will happen? The facility manager take the responsibility for causing frequent response to all the requests, order. The next one is regulations. The next one is deadlines, and the next one is demand for the organizations. Is it clear? I repeat, the facility managers, whether he or she belong to Flipkart or whether he or she belong to Reliance Fresh or Reliance Retails, they have take the responsibility or take the frequent response in case of request of various informations, then order, regulations, deadline, and the last one is demand of the organizations. So these are implemented for the long-term period in case of business decision-making process for the organization to match with or to cope with mission and vision of the organizations. Moving to next one. So these are the major steps of facility planning, or you can simply pronounce that whenever you are implementing the facility strategy, that should be directly implement this 4 steps. The first stage, you have to understand the concept of facility planning. The next one is analyzing the type, the quantity, the location of spaces. Then according to that one, you must go for planning. And finally, you must go for act. So these are the basic 4 steps which is involved in case of facility planning. I repeat, first one is understand the need of the particular locations. The next is analyze the different parameters. And after choosing the appropriate parameters or appropriate constraint, must go for planning. So for planning, what will happen? Most of the company are directly go for various models before implementing the various spaces. They directly take the layout of the particular places, and according to the layout, they directly replicate the entire system into a model, and that model should be tested. After a final result, they will go for acting the entire things. And during acting, what will happen? The facility manager is go for contract negotiation with the owners or the property owners. This is the thing which is involved in case of your facility plannings. Moving to next one. The next one is systematic layout planning. So this is most important. This systematic method is developed by Muller in the year 1973, and he created a conceptual block layout. So what will happen whenever you go for building your own house? You must go for a conceptual layout for bedroom, for living room, for drawing room. So this conceptual layout is directly provide a wide view of your business growth, especially reference to your long-term strategies implement for facility planning. So moving to next one, what will happen in this particular method? A successively add complex data categories until a block layout has been generated and making it a strategy to be tactical tools. So what are the tactical tools? The first one is you can directly go for flow charts. The next is you must define the activities and planning by the help of tables. In this case, basically the grant tables or grant chart is vastly used. The next is develop the activity relationship by the help of various diagrams, pie chart, block diagram, histograms. The next is develop a square footage requirement spreadsheets that should be delivered to the top level of management. And finally, they go for plan layout and they must go for deployment of various equipment in the layout process. So this is known as systematic layout. I just repeat, the first one is document the present operations, planning and activities horizons. The next is activities relationship is needed. The next is square footage requirement in the form of spreadsheet is needed. Then develop the block plan layout, and finally go for development of various equipment layout should be done. So this is all about your systematic layout plans. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving to next one, how this particular systematic layout should be proceed. And I have collected this particular slide from the Bastian Solutions Centers. They have implemented the past point in the form of chart relationships. In case of chart relationships, suppose you want to identify a particular places, and that places is very much, or that space is very much suitable for your expansion of business. So for representing this particular space, most of the company are go for chart relationships. In this particular chart, they will provide various informations, starting from genders, then the living conditions, the annual incomes, the next is the type of peoples, the communities, all the things should be presented in the form of chart relationship. The next is establish the space requirements. As I told, in case of systematic layout planning, most of the company are directly go for a basic layout where they are directly identify or establish their various machines, equipment, tools, maintenance stores, or the next one is in warehouse or stores. The next one is diagram activity relationship. In case of diagram activity relationship, who are the key players or who are the key workers or who are the key personnel who are involved in this particular activities. So that should be led by the facility manager or to form a particular team, and that team is directly implementing or directly execute various activities as per the direction of top level of management. Moving to next one, draw the space relationships. So most of the cases you have already observed, especially reference to Pantaloon, Big Bazaars, Value and Variety Max, they have segregated different departments, male, females, children's, cooking utensils, groceries, all the things should be separately designated in their spaces or in their retail outlet spaces. The next is evaluate the alternative arrangement. So in case of alternative arrangement, if you see the scenario in case of various retail outlet, they have arranged various elevators, lifts, lobby areas, parking areas. These are also mandatory in case of if you go to expansion your own business in various parts. The next one is detailed selection layout. So after detailed selection layout, company directly go for execution of various activities, and they directly shift their entire system to that particular location in the form of relocations. So that's all from my side for today's sessions. Any doubt you can ask?